Dizzy franchise has now been running for over 3 decades, and so in that amount of time you can imagine there's been lots of unusual and obscure tidbits of information to know. I am Novabug, and I welcome you to the top 11 Dizzy Facts. Back in the early days of home programming, the creators of the Dizzy series, the Oliver twins, planned out their world maps for the first games using simple pencil and paper, and even used spare rolls of wallpaper to design the large Dizzy worlds that we all now know and love. So they weren't only excellent programmers, but also a dab hand at the DIY. The title theme music for Fantastic Dizzy on the NES, Master System and Game Gear is actually a remix of the theme for Treasure Island Dizzy. Fantastic Dizzy was also released as 2 different versions for the NES, the Gold standalone cartridge and the Aladdin Deck Enhancer version. It also won the coveted Parents' Choice Award for 1991. Wonderland Dizzy was released a massive 22 years after its first development, and an additional 4 months of tweaking even after its discovery before it was released as a free-to-play browser game. It is also available as an exclusive limited run of physical NES cartridges and of course a downloadable ROM. Not to rest on their past efforts however, the Olivers followed this up in 2017 with the 10th core Eggy game, Mystery World Dizzy, which is heavily based on the 3rd game, Fantasy World Dizzy. This is also available to play free online. As of 2016, there are over 224 Dizzy fan games available to the public, most of which are made using the Dizzy Age developer tools. These games include remakes of the classic games, plus original stories and themes from the creative minds of the Dizzy fans. The Dizzy franchise has been released on 13 different systems: the Amstrad CPC, the ZX Spectrum, the Commodore 64, the Commodore Amiga, the Atari ST, the Sega Master System, the Sega Game Gear, the Sega Mega Drive, the Nintendo Entertainment System, the PC, and the Amiga CD32, and also on iOS and Android platforms. There was also a pitch to Codemasters to bring Dizzy into 3D onto the PlayStation 2, but this unfortunately never came to fruition. Dizzy Returns was a Kickstarter project in 2012 to bring Dizzy back into a new adventure for the modern day. Development and concept designs were underway by Blitz Games to bring the game to PC and iOS. Unfortunately, the funding goal was not reached and the project was finally abandoned. So we all know the age-old question, what came first, the Dizzy or the egg? Well, Dizzy became an anthropomorphic egg by chance. The Olivers were looking for a shape that they could easily rotate and animate, and so using P&A sprites, or Panda sprites, a development tool of their own design, they chose an oval shape and put a face on it. Due to the limitations of the day, detailed hands and feet were just not possible, so they appeared to resemble boxing gloves and boots. The Olivers stuck with this look, and thus Dizzy became the sentient chicken ovulation that we all know and love. In the second game, Treasure Island Dizzy, you can get 100 bonus points for dumping the Sinclair Abuser mag into the sea, which you'll find in the treehouse section. You can also die within 1.7 seconds right at the start of the game by jumping suicidally directly off the beach. Many of Dizzy's family members, the Yolkfolk, are based off existing fictional characters. For example, Grand Dizzy is Grandad from Only Fools and Horses, Denzel is based off the Fonz, Dora, Velma from Scooby-Doo, and Daisy, Dizzy's Squeeze, Daphne from Scooby-Doo. Dizzy is famously more synonymous with the ZX Spectrum, more so than other 8-bit computers of the time. But early games in the series were programmed on the Amstrad CPC 6128, as the Olivers found programming on a 48K Spectrum a chore. To create the games on the Specky, friends of the Oliver twins, David Jones and Ivan Link, built a bespoke transfer device and cable so that the Amstrad could dump the code onto the Spectrum. So whilst the Amstrad was known for some dodgy Spectrum ports, you could say Dizzy was an Amstrad port. The first game in the series, Dizzy the Ultimate Cartoon Adventure, is partly inspired from a 1911 poem by J. Milton Hey entitled The Green Eye of the Little Yellow God. Visual references can be found in the game with quotes from the poem within the scrolling banners that act as clues. Who would have thought that a poem written over 100 years ago would become the basis of the adventures of a roly-poly boxing glove wearing egg? So there you have it, 11 excellent and exciting facts about the Prince of the Yolkfolk. Some you may have known, some you may haven't, but I hope you enjoyed this little foray into the world of Dizzy. 30 years since his debut, Dizzy's popularity is still going strong within the retro gaming community. And with a dedicated fan site and Facebook page, let's hope there are more dizzying adventures to follow. Thanks for watching, Novabug, out.